Gonna build a mountain from a little hill.
Hey guys, and thank you so much for tuning into my channel. My name is DeLady, and in today's video, I am going to tell you everything about guided tours that came with free update 1.12 and show you how you can set up these guided tours to improve your guest needs and education. So without further talking, let's go and jump into it. So in order to create a tour for your zoo, you will need to go to facilities, type in tour, and then you will find the tour point right over here. These guys will snap onto the edge of your path, or you can just rotate them on the middle of your path and put them down pretty freely. For this one, we're going to start right here at the entrance. I do recommend starting at the entrance because your guests will pretty much come into your zoo, buy a ticket with a fee for a tour, and they will be right away ready to start the tour. And if you start a tour very far away in your zoo, it's gonna take forever for them to actually reach the tour point, and it will take forever for the tour to start. So I would not recommend doing that. It is possible, but yeah, you will notice if you try to do it differently that it's just not going as smooth as you would like it to be. So when you click a tour point sign, you can open a tour manager, which we will get back to in a minute, and you can select the activity type. So you can either select the educators to do an animal talk at this tour point, or you can select an intermission right over here, and which means that nearby guests and staff facilities will fill energy and other needs of both your guests and your staff. And of course, if you have an animal talk, do not forget to set the educational content. This is already important to right away know because you need to decide, of course, where you want to add more of these tour points to add to your tour. So now let's go and right away add some tour points in our zoo. So for example, I want to have one right over here at my meerkat's habitat. So I will select the meerkat right over here for an animal talk. Then we go to the next habitat. So for example, I want to have an animal talk right over here at the lemur house. So then I will select this at the red ruff lemur, for example. And then we will go to the next habitat. So let's just go here to the lion's habitat and just select this one at the West African lion. Now, of course, our guests will get thirsty and hungry, so it might be the right time to right away add an intermission. And we have some food and drink shops right over here. There are some toilets in here. So let's just go and add a point right over here and select this to intermission. This is going to mean that our guests and our staff are going to regain their energy and other needs. Now, if you place down these intermissions, it is good to keep in mind that it might be a better idea to also have a staff building more nearby than I have, because my most nearby staff building is probably somewhere here in the back. So yeah, when putting down these tour points, it might be a good idea to really place this a lot more strategically so it doesn't take your staff member too long when it comes back from a break, or just even already to go to that staff building. So when your guests and staff regained their energy, they will continue their tour. So for example, we go right over here to this habitat, we do an animal talk, and we choose the emu right over here, and then we continue our tour, and we will just do another tour point right over here, for example, and we select the blue wildebeest. And then I feel like for at least this tutorial that we're going to have an endpoint right over here, which we do not have to select anything special because that will change as soon as we open the tour manager. But obviously, the more animal talks you have and the more intermissions, the higher the rating will be for your tour. So now if we open the tour manager, you can right away see here tour number 1. You can add as many tours as you like. You can give them a name. So I will just make this a tutorial tour, for example. Right over here, you can add the tour fee. So the better rating of the tour, the more guests are willing to pay to attend your tour. And guests will rate your tour in several categories. So this will be education value, educator skill and personality, guest well-being, tour layout, and the scenery rating. So to achieve a higher rating for your tours, it's important to add several animal talk activities and a few intermissions in between to allow guests and educators to fulfill their need. So depending on the better tour rating, you can select this extra fee right over here, which comes on top of your ticket price. You can then also select the tour colors. You can also, by the way, change the colors of these little signs right over here. And I think this is the tour color of the sign that your educator will be carrying. So let's right away test this and just make this a blue one, for example. So now let's go and add the tour requirements. And for this, we will go back to the entrance first. And now we will select the tour start right over here and confirm this. And then we're going to add all the middle points. So adding the sign here at the meerkats, a sign here at the lemur house, another sign at the lion's habitat. Then we will add the intermission point, the sign of the emu habitat, the blue wildebeest talk, and then confirm because this is going to be the tour end right over here. So we confirm this one as well. So now we have set up the tutorial tour with a $5 fee. We have a blue tour color. We don't have a rating just yet because the tour has not started yet. We have all the tour requirements right over here, and you can obviously change all the names of these tour points to make it a lot easier. But for this tutorial, oh, actually these signs now change as well. I did not know that. So I think the educator is also wearing the same color and all the signs are also in the same color. That is a really nice little detail, I guess. So now in order to get this tutorial tour running and have some educators roam around through your zoo with a group of guests, you will need to set up a work roster, and I would advise to have a work roster per tour. And the reason for that is because the first time that I tested this, I had the tour into my everything work zone, which means that all my educators are also connected to this guided tour. And it turns out that every 3 months, a new tour will start. So in the first month, the educator is going to the starting point. In the second month, the guest will arrive at the starting point from the entrance. And then like the first of the third month, the tour will start and your educator will take the group to the second tour point. So this basically means that you can start 4 tours every year, but it's good to check also how long one tour takes. Because for example, if your tour takes more than 1 year, then you could probably add more educators to your roster, depending on what you want, obviously. So for now, we are going to select a new work zone and we're going to add all these tour points. I don't really think it matters too much to add habitats to it. So I'm just going to see if I can select only the tour points, meerkats, and the starting point. Now the in-game tutorial actually says that you do not have to add any guest or staff buildings in your work zone, but when setting up this work zone, it already says that there is no staff room in the work zone. So I actually do recommend to add staff rooms in your work zone just to make sure that your educators are able to do their talks and in between, so not with the intermissions, but next to their talks and the tour to also take a break. So I'm going to add the staff room large right over here, and I'm going to add the staff room large from this particular area because this is the intermission area. So this is probably the closest staff room they would get. And I think with these 2 staff rooms, it is already enough to get this going. So now all you have to do is add some educators to your work zone. And it is recommended to have highly educated educators in your work zone because the higher they are rated, the higher the rating will be of your tour. Now we have fully trained staff right over here. So I'm just going to take a few of these guys and put them all in the tutorial tour. So I now added 3 of the educators in there. So now let's go and check out what is going to happen. Now it may take some time, but you will get a message at some point from the tour group. A tour group will arrive for tutorial tour very soon. So now you can see that the educator is on their spot. It took her probably the whole month of April to get to this tour point. and now it will take another month, so until the end of May, until your guest will arrive. Your guest will arrive right away from the entrance point right over here, and they will buy a ticket including the fee that you connected to this specific tour. So now all the guests are here that are going to follow the tour, and as you can see right over here, the educator is walking around with a blue little sign, and she will be heading towards the first talking point right over here. And as soon as she arrives, she will do the animal talk that you are used to when adding a normal animal talking point. As you can see right over here, it's nothing really different than that. I have not tested though if she is also holding exhibit animals if you do these talks with exhibits, but I am actually assuming she will be doing that just as normal animal talking points at an exhibit. So now the educator is doing a talk here at the lemur habitat, but at the same time, a tour group will arrive for tutorial tour soon. So this means that another educator is already heading towards the first point to receive a new group of people to do a new tour. But that obviously also depends how many educators you added in that work roster to do these tours. So now our educator is done with doing the meerkat, lemur, and lion talks, and now she is heading right over here to this intermission point, and the group will follow her along, and she will wait until everyone of the group is here, and then the group will split up, including the staff member, and then the group will go and use these food and drink shops or go to the toilet, and your educator will go to a staff building nearby to regain some energy. So the group has refilled their energy pretty much, so the tour continues, and our educator will walk towards the next animal talking point right over here to do another animal talk, and then she will proceed to go to this animal talking point, and then she will go to the end point. So now the educator will arrive at the end point right over here. She will wait until everyone gathers again, and then she will pretty much just end the tour from here. A little wave, some clapping guests, and that was it. The tour has ended. So now if we go back to our tour manager and check the view tour rating, you can see we have a 4-star rating, an educational value of 5 stars, educator skill and personality of 5 stars. Guest well-being is pretty low. I can imagine that maybe it has also to do with the fact that we only have one intermission point and not several like the in-game tutorial says. So yeah, I am assuming when you have more animal talks and more intermission points, the guest well-being will go up, especially if they see their most favorite animals during the tour. And the same goes for the tour layout. I think the more animal talks you have, the tour layout will also go up. And the scenery rating is 5 stars, which I think obviously speaks for itself. The more scenery you have, the higher this rating will be. But yeah, this was pretty much everything I know so far about guided tours and how to set them up in your zoo. Obviously, this is all still new, so it could be that things will be tweaked a little bit the coming weeks by Frontier. But yeah, I am definitely very enthusiastic about guided tours and how it all works. I think it's a really cool addition to the game. And yeah, hopefully this tutorial helped you guys out how to set up these guided tours in your zoo. Do let me know, of course, in the comments down below. And if you guys figure out any other things that work or do not work regarding these guided tours, then please do let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like at the video if you guys enjoyed, and subscribe, of course, if you haven't already. And yeah, I just really do hope to see you guys on the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Bye guys!